What's up, anime fans? This is Raphael from C Manga, and welcome back to another review of Death Parade. This week's episode 8, Death Rally. Now, I have to say, Death Parade has shown us that it is, a dark, ominous, I'd say, somewhat evil-themed, anime with obviously the human emotions, betrayal, all the deceit, and kind of things we've seen in the past. But it still had its kind of undertones of humor and everything. This episode kind of scrapped a lot of that and just went full throttle dark, with the kind of murder, conflicted psychologic theme that we had in this episode. And this is something me and Jonathan were kind of looking forward to, because I remember he was mentioning there might be some sort of murder or something in this. And in this week, in fact, we get two. And as I said, it had a very different feeling to the episodes of the past. This episode didn't actually complete, with a judgment and the two people being sent off to their respective direction. It actually ended mid-action before any judgment was made. And the fact that they're both the fact that they are murderers from what we've seen makes the wait for next week very painful, because we've been given like bits and pieces, but we haven't given a full, disclosure of what their past was, what actually happened. And it just seems like both of them have committed murder, but it seems like it was justifiable because, one was for revenge, killing their wife, and the other one seemed like he just wanted to go and beat the guy up, or maybe he did want to kill him, but he abused his sister. And as I said, their situations are very complex. The two people that were sent to Nonon were, as I said, something Decim has never dealt with before, and we saw that at the end of the last episode. She wanted two specific guests. These two guys have killed, and Decim hasn't dealt with this before, so this is something new. And their stories are complex. One of them is called Shimada, and he's a young man who lost both of his parents at quite a young age, and he was basically had to raise his sister alone. And but apparently the sister had a stalker, and eventually he managed to assault her quite badly. It was I'd say quite graphic in terms of what we've seen, and she was really badly abused and beaten up. I was actually quite worried if there was going to be some sort of rape involved in that, like implied, and because that was kind of the first thing I saw or thought of. But either way, she was assaulted, and that was bad enough, and that completely made him put him on the vengeful path. And then on the flip side, we have Tatsumi, who is a detective. He had quite a decent life with his wife, went to work, honourable, reasonable man. He comes home one day and she's murdered, and that just sent him on the warpath. He wanted revenge. He did not care. All the investigating and stuff, that didn't matter. He wanted to kill this guy. So in some regards, they both want revenge. They want justice. Now, from what we see, there isn't really any right answer to this episode, because there's obviously a lot of controversy and confliction with what we should think. As I said before, we haven't delved into their minds and their feelings, so it's kind of hard to understand their obviously their pain and what they've had to go through. And what was interesting was, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we've seen someone bring actual belongings into the Queen Deccan bar after death, because when Shimado and the Tatsumi guy went off, they went to go and search for various ways to get out. And when he was in the toilet, he opened up his bag and there was a bloodstained knife in there, and he was like, oh my god, whose is this? So I'm wondering if that's just maybe that's something I overlooked, but that was quite interesting to see, the actual murder weapon there. Maybe this is something that's included for murder, I'd say people that have to be inspected, because we haven't actually seen anyone who's straight up a murderer, and this is the first time Deckham's seen it. So maybe there's more I'd say tricks and items included to kind of conclude the judgment correctly. But yeah, it definitely was quite a brilliant episode. There was so much darkness in it, and the way obviously the memories were fragmented and gradually brought in, it just gradually became darker and darker, and you could somewhat feel the pain for these guys. I can't actually remember if they knew they were dead yet. I'm not sure. I don't think they have, but imagine they both have this idea, motivation that they both need to win, and basically get out and get revenge. And it was actually quite interesting to see that they don't know this, but they are still on the warpath for revenge. But the game this week was air hockey, and it was actually quite interesting. The rules, we had obviously their respective colours, red and blue, and on each puck was a basically their organs or something like that, and then when you knocked in your own one into the respective person's thing, you would get double the points. If it was thing, it was one. And this is when they gradually, as I said, were starting to remember fragments of their memories. And a lot of the time the games were interrupted, and Declan was saying they're reaching the time that I didn't think they would. And eventually you might as well say it went to overtime, kind of like a sudden death moment, and there was like skulls on the hockey table, and it's basically every time the puck is scored now, it will deal pain to respective via, very similar to the darts game we've seen at the beginning. And this is when, you know, things get a bit more intense, and it's just left me really craving for the next week's episode, because I really want to see who is going to be judged. Are they both going to be sent to the void, or are they going to be allowed a second chance? As I said, very interesting, because not only is it for seeing, you know, murderers or potential murderers, but the fact that Declan has to deal with this now, and we even see the black-haired woman makes a request to see the memories, and that Declan received. And what was interesting is that she can receive it. I thought this was only exclusive to arbiters, but apparently it doesn't matter. I'm guessing if you're there in that place and you're dead, you can receive them. When she does receive them, she was in complete shock, because she basically sees that Shimada and Tatsumi are both murderers. So it is confirmed they are murderers, and now we just have to wait and see what's going to happen next time. But I very much enjoyed this episode. It's so dark compared to everything we saw before. I thought the previous episodes were dark, but this one, bringing the whole theme of murder and the fact that both of them are murderers, has made this interesting, quite complicated, into think, how's the judgment going to be carried out? Who's going to be sent to the void? Who's going to be sent to reincarnation? Or is it going to be like a dual decision? They both get sent down, or they both get reincarnated. Definitely looking forward to that. And I like, as I said, it's a two-parter this time, kind of breaking away from the one episode stories we've had in the past. So it's, yeah, definitely winding up to be a very good series, and I can't wait to see what we've got to see. And I think we've got 4 more episodes left, so there's definitely obviously a lot more to show us, and it makes me think, I wonder if they're going to carry it on, like do another series, or this would just be a one-shot series, because I'm really enjoying this so far. And as I said, very different from what we've seen you know, in the past few years, or even, as I said, 2014, 2015. But that's more or less me. I've rambled enough. I enjoyed this episode, enjoyed the darkness of it, and I can't wait to see the second half next week. So if you guys enjoyed this, let me know what you think, and I'll speak to you guys next time. Take care.